glad to hear you all's tone tonight. I want to say happy birthday to Malachi. This is his birthday today. And the Natiru celebrated that by creating a storm here in Georgia. And in South Carolina, there was a large meteorite that had a high explosive impact that rocked the ground like an earthquake. You can see the video footage of the object itself coming out the sky on YouTube. All right. I want to ask a question. How many of you all been watching the commercials on TV where there's a big, giant black man sitting on a bench with a little, tiny white woman, and he's in the back of her car, he's following her around, helping her with everything? When she tried to put out a barbecue fire, he made the rain clouds come, all that. Go ahead.
I have.
How many of you all watch TV at all? Please respond.
I do.
Okay, you see the commercial with a big black man in a suit sitting on a bench in a park with a little bitty white woman.
Yes.
Right. You've seen that. Do you know what the significance of that commercial is?
No,
On any given Sunday, yeah. Do you know the significance of that commercial? In other words, what it means?
No, please tell us.
All right. What the commercial means is they're trying to communicate to the white world subliminally that black people are becoming giants among them. Not physical giants necessarily, but spiritual and intellectual giants. And I hope that's got a lot to do with what's happening here with us. Yeah. So who's the first to have that spiritual experience? To share it. Sky,
I kind of do.
Go ahead.
Last time we had class, and we was discussing about dreams, and so the brother Andrew had said, like how I said that my dreams be like kind of all over the place. He
right.
said, like, you know, like the dreams actually do be like in place. So I started to pay attention to my dreams, and I started to realize or like look at the setting that I be in my dreams, that like I've seen this setting before. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like Andrew was right, and in that sense of like your dreams do be aligning, you know, and yeah. So I
let me explain to you. In this, when you dream, you're in the spiritual realm. Are you following me?
Right.
And your spirit can repeat or be redundant. Like some people dream of water or snakes frequently. But in reality, when you're in the spirit realm, energy flows where attention goes. So whatever you're thinking about or focusing on is where you appear, and that's not necessarily in any order. You got it?
Tua.
But if it is, it's because that's where your focus is. You got it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Tua. I'm telling you what's correct. That's what I'm saying, if you analyze it. But that's not saying that you, as an individual, can't have your dreams coordinated in a specific way, because that's what your psyche is focused on. You got it?
Yeah, sometimes, like, I see something, like, during the day, and it feels like I've seen this before, in a sense. Like, sometimes I hear things, and I'm like,
you have redundant, you have repetitious dreams sometimes.
Right, yeah.
I had a frequent dream all the time. I don't know if that's synchronicity that you're describing, though. I had a dream frequently that I was standing on the left side of Malachi, and I was always looking around on his right side, because there was three of us standing in a line. And I couldn't see the person on the right side, but I knew they were there. But much later I found out that that's the three Mims, that was Muhammad on the other side, and he smelled of rose. That's his scent. And in Malachi, and then there was me. And that was Ahmed, and my sin is musk. You follow me?
Yes.
Sure. All right.
I have a quick question with the dream. Can you how do I put this? Can you kind of dream something and you're not really like there? So like, let's say like it's like I'm watching TV in a sense. Like, let's say like I'm watching two people right in my dream, but I'm not like actually there. It's like I'm like,
of course,
watching them. Okay.
That's something that happens all the time. Listen.
Okay.
There's no limit to what you can do because reality is whatever you can imagine. You follow? But I always ask you all, do you remember having a very vivid dream, right? Where you were interacting with somebody else. You were interacting. I know what you're saying, you're not involved, but just imagine you interacting with somebody else and you all were having a picnic and you saw y'all having a picnic. And you wake up the next morning and you tell your significant other, I dreamed I saw us last night having a picnic with the baby. All right?
The call will be recorded.
My question is, who was it, sister, that was watching you and your significant other and your baby have a picnic? Who was that watching y'all have the picnic?
The higher self.
That's right. Your higher self.
Yeah.
But you see, you can have that same situation without you being involved in it. You can just see your significant other and your child having a picnic without you there. Do you understand?
Sure. Yeah.
So that's what you're talking about. That's all.
Okay.
But it's the witness self that, because you say, you see, it's clear when you say I, you're talking about the one, the Most High. When you say I saw us last night in a dream doing this or that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or just when you say, I'm in here talking to myself. Are you follow? We know the myself or the physical form and what you call physical reality that is really the illusion is the subject of the vision. You follow? But the I is the witness self, the observer, the causation. Rahu, but I'm glad to hear you, Karima. You follow me, sister?
Wait.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Right.
Hey, Moon.
Yes.
Yes, this is for Todd. I want to say I got my wife with me on the line, Tracy.
Good, very good. How are you, sister?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, very pleased to feel your vibration. I hope you got a lot of questions for us tonight.
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay. Well, I hope they arise.
I got a question, though.
Go ahead.
Yes. Amun, last night when we went through the storm, I think there was an original storm. I felt like there was a war taking place. And why I say that, because why the light was flashing and the laser was going through the sky, even though we got large hail and our power went out and everything. And I think even the meteorite, as they say, that took place, that shut the planet, that I think that has something to do with what took place last night too. And I think it was a craft that came through. And they saying it's a meteorite, but I felt like that was a craft.
Well, let me explain. There is a war happening and has been going on for quite a while, as there are disagreeable forces arrayed against the agreeable, and they're having a cosmic jihad. I know this because I personally bore witness sitting outside in my front yard, looking up in the sky, and I saw two crafts, and they faced off against one another. One fired red lasers at the other fired blue lasers, and the one with the red lasers eventually was hit and it dropped, right? But let me explain to you what's happening with this war is many times, you all remember when you used to see lightning, they would tell you to count to 3 and then the thunder would roll in, remember? But now,
yes,
many times you all experience seeing lightning, but there's no thunder to follow. Do you understand?
Oh my days. Yeah.
That's lasers. That's laser beams, not lightning. Laser strikes.
Understand.
Me and my mom was just talking about this. We were watching lightning, and I was like, "Yeah, they fighting out there."
Yes, they are.
She was like,
because I never told you all.
Too.
I never told you all, but disagreeable beings paid for this planet in full many, many years ago. And now they're trying to take possession of it. And they're going to take possession of it. But the thing is the Most High has already declared that they wouldn't fold up the two winds until they placed a seal in all of his children, 144,000. So there's no question about the disagreeable beings are going to possess this planet. But will you be here when it happens? That's the only question. Because behold, I looked at Mount Zion, there stood a Lamb, and with him 144,000 with their father's name written in their foreheads, okay?
I'm glad you said this, you know.
Okay, Amun, I got a question.
Yes, sister.
Amun, okay,
Yes.
So what's going to happen when the winds are released? That's going to be
The
destruction,
planet
right?
will be destroyed,
Yeah.
right? There are four crafts. Listen, there are four large crafts stationed in 4 points on the earth that are there to destroy the planet when the winds are released by the Most High, right? But like the Crystal City, when you all are driving and you look through your rearview mirror, there's a blind spot that a lot of times people have accidents because there's a car right there, and then you can't see it, and you change lanes and run into it. And what's the name of that place? At what point? That blind spot.
Lagrange point.
That's what it is, Lagrange point. Thank you, son. It's a Lagrange point. You can look it up. It's called the Lagrange point. So the Crystal City and those four winds are indeed visible because they're so large. But they are placed in a Lagrange point or a blind spot so that you can't see them, okay?
Okay.
All right.
I'm Bill Amun.
Amun.
Well,
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes. Yes.
Go ahead, sister.
Go ahead, brother.
Brother said, I have a question. What is your
I'm
question?
thinking about the.
Oh,
I'm thinking about.
Sister Red wanted to know, isn't that what's going on right now with all the destruction?
Yeah, the four winds are beginning to fold, yes. I opened up the class with the storm in Georgia and the high impact explosion by a meteorite. A meteor. On Malachi's birthday. These are signs. What you all have to understand and wrap your mind around when you're speaking about this mission, and I say it was Elijah Muhammad's mission, that he sent the people over to Malachi because it was his, when he broke the seventh seal, to have 30 years the first half hour, then Amun-Rayay's mission from 2000 to 2030. It may sound to a person that's not really focused like we all having separate missions. It's not. It's one mission divided into sections. You follow me? So Elijah Muhammad's mission, Malachi's mission, was a continuation of what the platform Elijah built. My mission is a continuation of what Malachi built on. Do you follow me? Except that I'm coming with information now that's another level completely. You know, above what he came with. Got it?
You bringing high mysteries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Robert Amun Skatat.
Rahul Bad, son. How are you? I'm glad to hear your tone, of course.
I'm doing well. I invited the sister Martha to class. I'm hoping she's here.
Are you here, Martha?
Please let us know.
Zimbabwe. Martha, are you here? If you are here and you have a question or you'd like to share information, just let me know.
In the meantime, Amun, let me say real quick. Earlier you was talking about dreams, and you actually answered a question that my mate had. Diana, she's here with me, and she was having recurrent dreams about her village. So she would ask me why she keeps having those dreams, and I would say, well, I or nobody can really interpret your dreams because that's a message from your higher self to you. But the way you just explained it about attention goes where energy goes where attention flows, it makes perfect sense. Because
that's right.
Even yesterday they had these like nationwide protests and demonstrations based around police brutality. And just with the images all day on the news and on social media, a lot of people reported having dreams about being at the demonstrations and running around even though they weren't there.
Exactly. You know, like I said, out of every 12 dreams on average, you have 7 false dreams and 5 true dreams. And your dreams can be motivated by simple things, like the last thing on your mind before you go to sleep, what you were looking at on TV, or the last conversation or argument you had with an individual, or your last activity that you really focused on, right? But spiritual dreams, the 5 true dreams, don't come from a source like demonstrations in the world. Do you follow me? But those are real dreams.
Right.
You see, you have to realize that at some level of consciousness, we all share one universal mind. So thoughts are overlaying. You follow me? It's like the 100 monkey effect, right? When you have 100 monkeys in a centrally located place, and then you remove 10 of those monkeys and put them on an isolated island 600 miles away, and then teach them a very specific behavior, like taking a straw and putting honey on the tip and getting termites out of the log to eat, right? So they're learning how to use a simple tool. The 100 monkeys, they're separated from the 90 back on the zoo that they came from. But science has realized that when you teach the 10 monkeys this new activity, how to use the tool, that by some form of osmosis, the other 90 monkeys start duplicating the same process, you follow? Without coming in contact with the 10 monkeys, they just learn to get a straw with honey and get termites out the log. You got it?
One mind, collective consciousness.
That's exactly. It proves the oneness. It's one mind.
Right.
In the same way, I tell you that you all could be reading a book that you're very interested in, right? And then while you're reading the book, you're intensely involved in it, and a fly can start irritating you, showing up, and you flash it away from your arm, and it keeps coming back, buzzing back. But you don't want to put your book down. After you get so annoyed, you can't wait any longer. You pick up a fly swatter or raid. What does the fly do then?
Fly away.
Move away.
That's right. And then as soon as you get tired of waiting, you want to get back to your book, and you put the fly swatter down, what does the fly do then?
Come back. He come
That's
back.
right. That fly is reading your mind.
Yeah.
Let me teach y'all something about telepathy, right? And show you why there's no evil on specific planes and why there's one mind. When you so-called reading the thoughts of another, reading their mind, that's not what's happening. There's one universal mind, and there's many frequencies in it. Whenever you're in communion with another person and they vibrate on the same frequency, then you share thoughts, the same thoughts. Do you understand?
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
I do.
But the frequencies, you don't know what anybody's thinking, because the frequencies are lined up just like the police or military band radios. They're all those secret frequencies, so the public can't get into it. But those older among you remember, you used to look at television, all of a sudden the taxi cab or the police would come over your TV. Remember that? They would interfere with the frequencies. Yeah. That's the way some of you all see these extraterrestrial crafts. That's how some of you all see extraterrestrial crafts, or you see a being out your peripheral walk by or something like that. Because the dimensions are interphasing. The frequencies are interphasing.
Amun.
Yes.
Yeah, we have the Sister Martha on the line here to bless us.
Oh, I'm glad. I love you, Martha. I'm glad you're here. If there's anything you want to share, any questions you have, please get started.
Well, not at the moment, but I was just happy that you mentioned about the monkeys that actually operate in the same way without meeting one another. Because when I started digging deep into ancient cultures, I realized that, Mesoamerica, Mesopotamia, and Africa, and even Asia and India, we have so much in common. Even some
Exactly.
of the war gods, some of places, they have the same names, kind of like, they sound familiar or similar. Yeah, so yeah, that's, thank you for that.
I have a question for you. Did you receive the email I sent you on the water goddesses, the underwater evil that you mentioned briefly in one of our classes?
I did, but to tell you the truth, I haven't opened all of the emails because I need time to do that. I homeschool 3 kids, and I have.
I think you'll find it highly interesting. Did you get it, Katat?
I will.
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back through my emails as well.
Yeah, I sent it to you as well, right? But it's about these water creatures that are not fully human, that manifest in the form of human women, but they're these very negative, evil beings, and they're extremely beautiful, flawlessly beautiful. And they get in relationships and marry extremely rich men, for example, in Africa, rich and powerful men. And then after they spark these men to accumulate riches and automobiles and fame and power and millions of dollars, then at some point they kill these men and they become the successor of their fortune.
Wow. Are those sirens?
Say it again. Somebody had a question.
All bad, Amun.
Is this Larry?
I have a question.
No,
this is hard. I'll just let you. No.
Rahubad Har, could you give us the prayer, please?
Yes, sir. I didn't want to cut anybody off if they had a question.
I love you. Go ahead.
No worries.
Amun-Rayay. Unabad Momaldu, Unadayad, Unzerhu, Li Panan Zaman, Wu Wakat, Hanabab Yanun. Kalel Hamadad, Ate Le Amun-Rayay. Natar Shalil, Papatek, Upa Taha, Anuke, Nuwapu. I trust by Amun-Rayay and his master teachers and his papyri and his warner for this day and time, Hanabab Yanun. All praises are for Amun-Rayay, Nathar, overseer of the heavens and the earth. I am Nuwapius.
Thank you very much. Now let's resume the questions or statements.
I have a question.
I have a question,
Amun.
Very good, sister. Go ahead. I'll be right with you, brother. Go ahead, sister.
Is the solar flares going to hit all over the parts of the planet, of the Earth?
Are the solar flares going to... Well, the thing about location and the solar flares is that the way celestial mechanics work, like the Earth revolves around the sun, it also revolves on its own axis. It's got 8 different motions at once, right? And what she's calling solar flares is that there are solar prominences, right? Where you have 480 million tons of hydrogen converting to 400 million tons of helium every second on the sun, and that extra 4 million tons is expressed in the form of energy that you call solar flares or solar prominences. And they flare out around the sun in every direction, and some of them reach out to the Earth, and they cause disruptions in electronics and different things like that, or blackouts and, many interferences with electrical, like TVs and devices and cell phones, failures, right? But what I'm trying to say to you, sisters, about location is remembering that the Earth revolves on this axis, that half the time it's facing the sun, and the other half of the time is facing away from the sun, determined by your location on the planet. So yes, it's going to affect the entire Earth, but not at one time. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
Because the Earth is constantly turning. So whatever part of the Earth is facing the sun, when the flares flare up, it'll be exposed to that. Because these solar flares travel at a speed of 186,272 miles per second. So it takes light from the sun 8.5 minutes to reach the Earth at that speed. So if the Earth revolves on the axis at 24 hours, then of course whatever side of the Earth is facing the sun is going to be exposed to that solar radiation, right? At that point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if that solar flare storm goes on, lasts more than 24 hours, the other side will be around to experience some of it too. All right?
Okay.
All right. But yes, the entire Earth will be exposed to solar flares at some point. All right, your brother had a question.
Yeah, I'm asking this for my mother. She actually is we're very good friends, and always when I'm elevating my vibration, she's one of the persons I can talk to, and she's actually always interested in doing the same, and we actually work together. We actually try to...
Well, your vibrations are actually much aligned because you are a child.
That's true, yeah.
That's right. And my mother and I were the same. She was my God.
I hear that.
Right.
I hear that.
I'll follow you back there, Patel. Go ahead, son. Your question is, or her question, rather.
Yeah. She's always been very strong, and she never gives up, and she just goes on and goes on. But that happened to injure her brain, so now she's like, she can't really learn stuff, or she gets tired really quick, and I can see it's in the way of her process,
Yes.
Because I told her, like, you have to come to class and just try to raise the...
Motivate her to come. It may re-stimulate her. To hear people, brothers and sisters, coming from similar places and higher vibrations, right?
Yeah.
To be involved in a network like that may stimulate her conscious. But one saving grace you have to remember is that one saving grace you have to remember is that her brain is a physical organ, right? Howbeit the most spiritual aspect of your physical anatomy, because your brain is predominantly water, but it doesn't have any bone or cartilage at all. What it is a transmitter and receiver. So if that was separated, if the skull was split, your brain would pour out on the street, and the two hemispheres would separate from each other. You follow what I mean? They're not really a part of the physical realm, but they're not quite etheric. Your brain is a transmitter receiver, but it's receiving from the mental reservoir. So that you are part of the universal mind. She's part of the mind as well, right? Because while your brain is contained in her cranium between her ears, we are all contained in her mind.
Okay.
You follow me? So you can't ever take that from a person because of brain damage or anything. You follow? My mother suffered from dementia in her 80s, in the latter years. But she was always mentally in tune with me through her mind. We could communicate certain vibrational frequencies.
Okay. So how do I
start by bringing her to class.
Okay, will do.
And if she just listens,
will do.
From the brothers and sisters in various parts of the world, different cultures with different vibrations, some things are going to spark her and may motivate her, right?
Yeah. That's what I want to reach, because I send her like a lot of classes and stuff, and I told her that you have to listen to this one and listen to this one, and she does. Yeah. It's like it takes a lot of energy for her to, And because for me it's like 3 o'clock in the night, and for me it's okay because I'm young and I can move quickly.
I follow
For her it's like 3 o'clock when she's sleeping, you know. So
I follow you. That is very difficult. But what you can do is have her listen to the classes in the daytime when she's up and active, normally.
Okay.
You follow me? Rather than 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then if she has any, if she's inspired to have any questions, then you can channel the questions to me.
Okay.
Young man, you follow? And then give her the answers to her questions when she wakes up.
All right. Yeah.
All right?
Perfect.
So you can act as a kind of a conduit between. Say it again.
I was saying, do you think gold might help in a situation like that?
Sure it will. Of course it will. Martha, that's a question I have that's very serious. He was telling me about is there any possibility I could pay you and buy some monatomic white powder gold from Zimbabwe to complement what I have now? That would be very important.
I'm not sure yet. I'm going to have to meditate on that and then respond. Probably.
Okay, but you do know where to get it, though, right? You do know where to get it, though, right?
Well, yeah, but you would get it. You would get it, because I'm just trying to believe on the stage of evolution, spiritual evolution that you are at. But, these elders, they only give it to you when you actually step on these soils, because they don't want that stuff to be handled by many energies, because, for it to get to you, it's going to have to go through people who have low vibrations that handle those packages.
That's right, but I wouldn't.
If you follow up.
I do follow you, but it wouldn't be handed out to anybody that wasn't on a certain vibrational frequency, not through me. Just like ayahuasca, I would handle it very carefully, because if I communicate with one of the elders you speak about, it wouldn't take me but 5 minutes for them to understand who I was. You follow me? And this has nothing to do with geography, like where I am. Where I am, Martha, is one with the universe. I'm one with all, and that means I'm one with them as well, just like you.
I understand that.
And I know that everybody with me is not, but they wouldn't have, just like you could tell the difference and they could tell the difference, so could I, right? And I would not give anybody access to something like that. It would be tantamount to me giving a .38, a loaded gun, to a 3-year-old in a loaded room. You follow me?
Yes, I do.
And that would be danger, and the responsibility of it would be on whoever gave the child the gun, right?
Yes, that's very true.
So I would not give that to children, right? Spiritual children.
Mm-hmm.
But there are beings with me, like a cat, that are elevating spiritually, that they are at a place where I would feel confident that they were ready for something like that. You follow?
I do follow, yes.
Yeah. So please find out how much I should send you, and allow a significant amount for you to help make your life more comfortable as well. Okay, Martha?
Okay. That doesn't really matter though. I would try and get in contact with them. I can't get in contact with them now. The moon is still new.
Oh, I follow you. I do follow you. But I do anticipate, and I do believe that you know how serious this is and what time it is. We're in the end times now, and it's time for everybody to evolve and elevate that's going to make it into the higher dimensions. You follow? Or into the next levels.
I do.
Right, it is.
I do.
So there's no time to hold back. We got to go ahead and...
You know what?
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
This is the time right now for... Go ahead.
So I was about to say, what they also say is that the white powder gold is within you.
Oh, it is.
You are the
I'm the golden
ultimate.
child. It's in me. That's right. It's in me. But I want to increase the quantities. It's definitely in me. I am the golden child. It's in me. But that's not going to assist other people outside of me, right? But there are people that are wise, disagreeable people that come many miles around, especially females, and you know how they receive the gold from me, right?
Yeah.
That's right. But that's not possible in every case. What about brothers? And I'm not going to be in that situation with every sister. You follow what I'm saying?
I do follow.
Yeah. So what I mean, I'm trying to figure out a way to assist the 144,000 in the totality of their evolution and their expansion, their conscious expansion, you see? But only when they get ready for it.
Yeah.
But I would hope that you would trust me as an elder, and I think the more you're around me, the more it'll be revealed to you. You know, like I know it's 3 o'clock in the morning where you are right now, basically, right?
Yeah, correct to 4 to be precise now.
Right. But we never got a chance to finish this last time. Could I do something special with you? Would you look outside and tell me what you see in the sky right now, Martha, please?
All right, let me just go to my window.
Very good. We got cut off the last time. I want to finish this.
Okay, I don't have a clear vision here. Let me just.
Okay.
Try and go in the lounge.
I hope you can see the moon, but if not, the stars will do.
Let me just see. It's winter time here, so sometimes it gets a bit overcast. Like
I know.
foggy.
But I'm hoping the moon is bright
I
enough to
can see a
penetrate
very
that,
bright sun.
or you can see some stars above your head.
Yes.
Okay, you see a star above your
And
head?
also, yes, I do.
All right. I'm going to move that star to the left right now in the name of Amun-Rayay. Let me know what you see. Now I'm going to make that star raise up for you, Martha.
Sorry, that's my kid snoring.
Okay. Do you see it moving? If you don't say you do. Just
Well,
let me.
no.
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 Okay.
No, but what happened? What happened when I opened the curtains and I looked at the star?
It
There
got
was
brighter.
one that was drifting away. It's still drifting away from it slowly, and it has gone really low, but it was really close to that star.
Okay, that move. Any movement you see in the star, any movement you detect is coming from me. Now I'm going to make the star move in a circle clockwise.
So there's another really faint one that's going past it again. It's
Okay.
like a whole traffic of stars. Yeah.
You should see a star.
Like I always see this.
Okay,
Yeah.
but they're not
I
doing the
was
same
taking a
thing.
picture of
I
it.
follow you, Martha. And I know it's hard to believe that I'm in the United States and I'm making the stars move in front of you, but that's what's happening. You follow me? Can you see how many? Okay, you focusing on a star that's fairly bright?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see the moon at all, even if it's a part of the moon?
No, the moon is not where I'm facing.
I follow you.
Which is making
All right, but you see quite a few stars, right? You see quite a few stars, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm going to make
Yes,
all
I
the
do.
stars move to the left. I'm going to make all the stars move to the left in the name of Amun-Rayay. Move to the left. All the stars in the sky move to the left. Now all the stars move back to the right. Katana, you outside? You and your mate? All the stars, raise up.
No.
Raise up in the name of Amun-Rayay. Now all of them drop down in the name of the Messiah. Now, Martha, you didn't see any movement again, right?
No, it's just a traffic of stars. Like every time I see these stars, many times, but right now they're coming as if they're shooting from that other big star, and they're all going to the east.
Okay, but Martha, any movement in the stars is happening because of me. That's what you don't understand. Katat, you're in Africa.
I do understand.
Oh, I do. I hear you. Katat, is there any reason why you can't see the stars?
My mate is looking.
Okay.
But I'm here.
Okay.
I gotta stay by the computer to
okay.
relay
Well,
what she's doing.
tell her that I'm going to raise. Tell her to focus on any star.
See one? You see one? You see a star? Okay.
Tell her I'm going to raise it up in the name of the Messiah. Raise up. Tell her I'm raising it up.
You see anything? Yeah, she sees it.
Yeah, now I'm going to drop it down.
All right.
All right.
She sees it. All right.
All right. Now I'm going to make it go in a circle, counterclockwise.
You see that? She sees it.
That's right.
So she's even shocked.
She's shocked. I understand that. Right? But I'm trying to make it clear to Martha that when she communicates with these elders, if she needs to convince them why I should have access to these things for my students, that maybe if they would speak to me one-on-one at any financial cost for these arrangements, it's all right with me, that I would be glad to do that. You follow? I want to make it abundantly clear. I want to make it abundantly clear that there's nothing more important than to expand the consciousness of our people before times get beyond repair. Right? And I didn't mean to know. I wanted to speak to you in a demeaning way, Martha, like you just didn't understand. But I was confused as to why you couldn't see the stars move at all. You know, or when you said you saw a move, that you attributed that movement to something else, natural, other than me. Right? Because when you look at stars, they don't just naturally move by themselves. We know that. You follow? So that movement was as a result of myself, and I'm not doing that for my ego's sake. I wanted to demonstrate that to you so that you could have we could squeeze the elephant in the thimble. In other words, I could go on and on for hours and years trying to explain who I was and prove who I am, but I can demonstrate that by simply act of moving a star over your head. And it's not the only thing I can do, Martha, but it's the only thing that I can think of that's high enough in the sky to do for people in other hemispheres. Are you following me?
I do.
So if I levitated right now in my room, that would be no proof to you, Martha. You follow? I also hear people... I'm sorry?
I'm saying it would be. I am very sensitive to spirit.
Oh, I know. I believe that. That's why I'm talking to you like this one-on-one. And I'm so proud to be in your company. I also am a healer. Do you know that I heal people from cancer and AIDS at a distance?
I do believe that, yes.
It is true, but I can send you we can send lab reports and testimonies. You know, so what I mean is I'm not just another person, you know what I mean? I'm responsible to handle things like that responsibly. You follow what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. So I anticipate hearing from you very soon, and know this, that regardless of how generous your spirit is, I would be insulted if you didn't allow me to make your life financially more comfortable, all right? And we could do this, have this transaction as often as it takes, okay?
Yeah, okay, yes.
All right, thank you. Next question, please.
Amun.
Yes.
What's the purpose of the permanent?
Of the permanent?
Yes, sir.
The permanent what?
So why ask you the question? I was hearing.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't even understand the question. What's the purpose of the what?
Firmament.
Oh, the firmament.
Permanent.
Okay.
Yes.
To have a place for you to set your feet on.
Okay.
You see, this is all a conscious creation. There is no such thing as solid matter. But the firmament was created in order to give you stability or a foundation to walk on. Our extraterrestrial is an extra being on the terra from the astral stars, right? Terra astral. An extra being on the terrace or the firmament from the astral stars. Are you following me? Of which all of you are.
Understand.
Because you're not from your parents, you're through them. But there are many beings here with me that are actually star people, like Martha and Katat, and I could go on to name people, you know what I mean, right?
Sure.
And I can sense their presence or their heightened vibration, their expanded kind. I can sense it.
Understand.
Right. And there's some of you that I'm trying to raise up to a certain level of consciousness. You see, when they had this project with the Anunnaki, they were here to mine gold, to repair the dome on their home planet. That was, the atmosphere was disrupted by a plutonium bomb by a humbubber, a very negative being that they invited into the Riskian Empire. But to repair that ozone layer, just like they have over the country of Australia right now, the ozone layer is disrupted, and the ultraviolet rays from the sun are penetrating down and giving especially white people a bad time. But on our home planet, on Risk, there are 3 suns. It's a tri-solar system, so the sun rays were multiplied by 3, and it made it basically impossible for us to exist on the surface, so many of us went underground, and other of us migrated through Nibiru and other crafts we call Sham to other star systems like Orion and the Milky Way, you know what I mean, and to Earth, right? But we are star people. And what it is that they sent certain beings out, like Panababianu and myself, Amun-Rayay, and I'm sure people in Africa always, because all the messages basically used to come from the east. Are you following me? But like me, myself, as the sun, S-U-N, rises in the east and sets in the west, so shall also be the coming of the Son of Man to the west. Now I'm in the west. As because of the slave trade and different things, there were a lot of our people that were misplaced and scattered all over the face of the earth. And so we're here in essence to kind of gather and ferret out those people that have enough of the DNA from those extraterrestrial beings, like the Anunnaki, to be associated with the Intergalactic Federation, in other words, be taken up and rejoin the beings that came down here originally, as opposed to a lot of the people that are here, and that they created a race of beings called the Lulu Amilu, or the primitive worker, and Martha will know about that with Inky's gold mines in Zimbabwe. And those Lulu Amilu, or primitive workers, they were mixed with beings that were already here, like the Homo erectus, the Australopithecus, the great apes, layers, chimpanzees, etc. And they call them primates, just like a prime steak or a primate would be something very good. A primate, right? And they had a 600-year project where they had 100 years for gathering species, 400 years for genetic manipulation, and 100 years for education. And they created these beings to mine the gold for them as laborers, right? But among the people on Earth, there are direct descendants because they did mix their genes with beings here that they're sophisticated and spiritual enough to be gathered and reunited with the star people again. Are you following me? And that'll be the ones of you that understand the principle of oneness, for one thing, or divine love. You understand? And the rest of the people here will be left behind because they're predominantly reptilians or chimpanzees, or, you know what I mean? And they could never evolve to that level of consciousness,
Right.
that they could be prepared to be reunited with the star people without causing
Understand.
wars and dissension. You follow?
Follow.
Right.
I follow.
That's why I was sent here. And I'm sure Martha and many of you are not really clear on your purpose yet, but as she helps assist us as a group in our raising, she'll start recognizing her purpose was directly affiliated with the ascension of the consciousness of the peoples of the world, of the Melanite people of the world. Are you following me?
Sure.
Right. And that's how she came into contact with us. It's the same way by nature a bird flying soft without a map. You follow me? When they say you have a brain like a bird, that's an insult to indicate that you're stupid. But if you take a college professor and blindfold him and turn him around in circles in the forest and then take off the blindfold and ask him to point south, he can't do it, can he?
No.
But a bird can fly south without a map. Are you following me? Because they adhere to the laws of nature. We have to return to the world of the first mind, right? In other words, like I was talking to the brother originally, we all have a physical or carnal brain, or a reptilian brain, right? But we also have our higher mind. So we have to learn to make that journey within and reconnect with our higher senses. For example, when you go to the refrigerator to get lunch, and then you say, I want a pig foot, or something that's haram or forbidden, right? And your higher self says, no, choose the salad. Get the salad. It's healthier for you. And your free will goes back and forth like the devil on one shoulder, the angel on the next, until ultimately you decide on one or the other. But, you know, you could go back in that argument within yourself so intensely that you start speaking outwardly. And your child hears you in the next room and says, Mama, who you talking to in there? And you laugh and confess, oh, child, you caught me. I'm in here talking to myself. Remember that?
Yes.
The myself is the physical form, the lower self, the I, the single I, the oneness. That's your higher self. That is never wrong. It's the one, like I said, when you have a dream and you see other people in the dream and you could be with them having an activity. Like I said, walking to school or whatever it is, and you wake up excited the next day and say, I saw us last night in a dream and we were doing this or that, riding bikes and we were fishing or whatever like that. My question is to you, who was it that was watching you all ride that bike in that dream?
My higher self.
That's right. That's the I. Because you said, I saw us last night in a dream. Or I'm in here talking to myself, right? So those people that are capable of separating the myself from the I are the ones I'm here for. Those are the star people. Are you following me? But you have to consider that these people over 6,000 years have been placed under a spell, right? And they're basically asleep as elocytes, and they're forgetful beings. They don't remember who and what they are. So it's our job to wake you up to the reality of who and what you really are by training you to make that journey within again, reconnecting with the higher aspect of you. Because, you see, your physical body is created. Anything created, son, anything created has a beginning and a what? An end, right?
An end.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But that which is real is permanent. So you understand that the Creator has neither beginning or end. So the indwelling spirit, remember that he created you a sound and clay of black mud, fashioned in the shape, blew his breath into your nostrils, and thus you became a living soul. So that's inside of you. You have an inner being, an inner hearing, an inner vision, an inner heart. In other words, you look around the room you're in right now and you see things, but your vision is restricted to the floors, walls, and ceiling, right?
Right.
But if you close your physical eyes, you can see your car parked outside, your best friend on the playground in 3rd grade, and it's not just memory, because you all have had dreams, and listen, you all have had dreams, and something played out. Hello? Hello? Mute your phones, please. You all have had dreams where you saw something in your dream, and then walking on earth 2 weeks later, you told the person next to you, hey, I saw this in my dream a week ago. Remember that?
Sure.
My question is, how did you see the future? How did you see the future? You couldn't see the future in the physical. The person with the babies, please start fix your phone. Please mute your phone. Right? So I have to get y'all back in tune with your higher self. The one that helps the birds to find south of the map. The aspect of you that belongs to God, where he really shares in you become. Are you following me? Katat, are you all with me?
I follow.
Yes, I know you do.
Rahubat?
Yes, Rahubat. Zybe, how are you, son?
It's Kim.
Okay, Kim, how are you?
Doing good, Messiah. How are you?
I'm doing my best. Andrew, are you here?
Rahubat, Messiah.
Rahubat, who is this?
Zybe.
Okay, Andrew, you're not here? Okay. Good. Zybe. Oh, Kim, you have...
Ask the host what's the answer.
Please, one with the woman speaking in the background, please start 60 phone. It's a very easy thing to do.
William, you need to stop. Mute your phone.
Thank you.
I was like,
There are disagreeable beings that are trying to block this flow of information, right? All right. So one of you have a question or a statement you'd like to make or ask?
I'm in class tonight.
I appreciate it, and I'm very glad. Now, Kim, can you tell these people from experience that I can heal people from chronic, deadly illness from a distance?
Yes, that's true.
Did I do that for you?
Yes, you did.
That's right. So, Star Movers, I want y'all to know that the Most High loves you, and he always has loved you, and you're not forgotten. You're not a forgotten people. But many of you have been scattered to the winds of the earth, and you're still being gathered. The lost found nations of Israel, it's time for you to wake up and gather again. And we'll be gathered from all over the world, not just in Africa, but everywhere, because you all have been spread out through various mechanisms all over the world. You've been scattered throughout the world, in the four corners of the earth. Are you following me?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Well, I hope I stimulate some questions in you all.
You did. I have one.
Very good.
I'm 29, and I've been smoking since I've been 18. Because like the mental pressure and all that, it came very early in my life, and I was like, okay, I need a way out or I need an escape. So I started smoking, and it's bad. So I've been slowing down and less and less and less. But I recognize that when I don't smoke, my higher self I can communicate with it way better, you know.
Right.
So I've been struggling, and I want to quit for forever. For how do you say it?
Right, I follow you.
Yeah, I just.
Well,
Yeah,
know
I
that
stop.
that you're not hopeless against the times, right? You do have nothing can control you, no outside source. But that's just showing you the power that the spell has over the minds of people and over their decision-making process. Because a man can buy a pack of cigarettes and read on the side, the Surgeon General has determined that this is dangerous, hazardous to your health, and may cause cancer or even death. And after they premeditate the harm it'll do, they buy the cigarettes, open it up, and light it, and then they puff and drag the cigarette, right? And then when you tell them that they got to be careful because they can be possessed by some negative spirit. No, I'm not. I'm not. Well, who's making you do something against yourself? Remember that the greatest enemy is the inner me. You're at war with your lower aspect, the physical, conscious, carnal body, and the carnal mind.
Yep.
That's the beast. That's the enemy.
That's right.
And it instinctively desires what it wants, regardless of who it'll hurt, you or anybody else. You follow me? It's like a dog turning over trash cans in the dark. It doesn't have any sensitivity like that. It doesn't have the ability to care. It doesn't have a soul.
No.
That aspect of you comes from the Most High, the Creator, the higher aspect of you, the inner vision, the inner hearing, right? There's some females that clean up a house, and their children are 1,000 miles away. But while they're cleaning, they hear their children call them, and they just assume say, "Yeah, baby, I'm here," and then they get embarrassed because they realize they're the only one in the house, right? But they heard that child with their inner ear. And maybe sometimes the phone will ring and it's them to say, "I just heard you call my name." "Yeah, Mom, I was just thinking about you." You follow that? That's that physical. That's the inner being, because your physical ears can't hear that far. You have a spiritual aura inside of you, a light that perspires through your skin about 3 feet outside your body that forms a sort of an atmosphere or a highlight. Do you understand? That's why you all have a 3-foot rule. When you're in line and people get too close, you just back, "Brother, give me 3 feet." You know what I'm saying, right? And they say, "I'm not touching you, man. I'm not touching you, man." They don't understand you're uncomfortable because you're invading their spirit.
Right.
You follow me? That's too close.
Follow.
Get back above me, brother. You understand? Let me give you some room. Give me 3 feet now. You understand? It's just like you sitting down on the couch and you taking a nap. And a baby or a child comes by and they start moving their hand over your forearm, and your eyes are closed, and they wake you up. They don't touch skin or hair, but you can feel it. Do you understand?
That's
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the spiritual aspect of you that I'm here for. Listen, you can move your hand up and down or a fork on a plate, but you can't move stars with your physical body. Your arms are not that long.
Yeah.
So you know who it is that's talking to you. It's not a man. It's the one. I was sent here by the Creator to gather you all. Not alone and only, but I am a part of that grand assembly. Martha, are you still here? Could you see if Martha's...
I am here.
Okay. Then I know you feel what I'm saying, don't you, Martha?
I do. Every word.
I love you. I know. And I know you do. I can feel you already. When I first heard your tone, I knew your frequency. You follow me? I knew you were my child, my sister. I knew that right away. You hear me?
I do.
Yes, I knew that. Even more so than my physical daughters. Because, listen, like I said, you're not from your parents. You're through them. You're from the Creator. But you are through your parents. They are a vehicle to get you here. Understand? That when a child is born, they are placed spiritually inside of the mother and father 3 months before the man and woman come together in any conjugal sense physically. Do you understand? So that
I do understand.
in the first term, when you look at the baby physically, that's actually the second term. The baby's been there, and it forms a zygote, a kind of a reptilian with a tail like an alligator. You look at it with claws. And the third trimester, they call it the second trimester. It's a Reumardian, a gray. It's got a big head like a gray, right? You know the gray is in you, just like when you take a bath, you stay too long, you put a Band-Aid on, and then you pull it off after a long time, and your skin is kind of gray. And then in the fourth trimester, that they call the third trimester, you are Homo sapien, which you call a human being, which is a hybrid between a reptilian and a gray, or Reumardian. Right? So when the baby is born from the mother and released from the womb, it's still a spiritual being because it's living off the internal self from its mother and from itself, the internal light and heat from inside, the inspiration from the Most High. And it's not breathing in this atmosphere because in the womb and the amniotic fluid in the water, it was using gills to breathe, gill pouches. So that in order to have the birthday, the doctor turns the baby upside down and spanks the child. And as a result of the pain, the child cries. And in order to cry, it has to inhale oxygen, right? This gas, oxygen, is flammable. And it also is combined with secum, or prana, as the Greeks call it, which is the life-giving essence from the sun that makes grass green, etc. And when it goes into your pyra, which is your nasal cavity, shaped like a pyramid when you face the mirror, it goes into your arterial circulatory system, and it's pumped around by the heart muscle to every aspect of your body to deposit some of that prana or secum and a little bit of that oxygen to revitalize your body. And when it finally goes around and hits that light in your solar plexus, that ball of etheric light, that's a fire burning inside of you. Proof of that is that when you inhale oxygen, you exhale carbon as evidence of a chemical fire, or why you can have a fever or burn calories, or do you understand? Or why you maintain a constant body temperature 98.6 regardless of outside temperature. You can live in the snow, stick a thermometer in your mouth, and your temperature is still 98.6 because there's a fire inside of you. So when that oxygen hits that fire, being flammable, it ignites a spark that creates a tumbling, like when you ignite the engine of the car and the pistons tumble. And that tumbling binds the spirit to the mud to create the living soul. And then that's your beginning time reference, zero time reference, or your beginning, that's your birthday here on earth in this physical world. And as long as that tumbling is going on, that interaction between the spirit and the body, there's life. But the second that spirit leaves the body, that physical form becomes cold, and they call that death. And the only difference between sleep and death, dear brothers and sisters, is that in sleep, when you leave during the day, your spirit and flesh feel like equally matched warriors grappling for dominance. Yes, no, yes, no. But at night, when the physical brain and the body shuts down for slumber, the spirit raises up its vibration, because that aspect of you never sleeps. It raises up the light cord of your spine. That's Jacob's ladder. And there's 33 notches in it, corresponding to what you describe as 30 degrees in Freemasonry, 7 seat seals of 7 heavens, chakras, right? And when it passes up the lotus breastplate, the laryngeal seat gets to the pineal gland, it raises up to the crown molar, the soft spot of the baby's head. At the top of your head right now, family, you have a thin, transparent, hollow tube called the etheric tube attached to the top of your head. It's hollow and transparent. That ball of light sits in the temple, not a building down the street or a church. The temple is the place on the side of your head next to your ears, and your eyes are windows to the soul. When that light vibrates in the mouth of that tube, it causes it to expand in the opening like a woman dilating to give birth, because the etheric cord, like the umbilical cord, you die from out of one reality, born next, and that tube expands in the mouth, and that light leaves your head or your body every night, and you go through that etheric cord, where people describe a near-death experience, to go through a tunnel, and you feel like you're flying and floating, what you think is a dream. It's not a dream. It's OBE, out-of-body experience, or astral flight, and you have many experiences. When you get through with those experiences, you slide back down that tube, pop back in your head, reanimate your flesh. And a lot of people try to move too quickly, and they can't. Old people say it's a witch riding your back, but it's sleep paralysis. You have to be astrobodu, patient enough to allow that light to travel back down like part of your spine, and you probably be seated in the solar plexus in order to trigger electrical impulse so you can first move fingers and hands and 50 toes and feet so you can stand up and operate that body again. Don't you know when you wake up in the morning, you're totally disoriented many times? You have to remember who you are. You go to the bathroom and urinate, you stare at it in the toilet, trying to figure out what, and then you remember, oh yeah, I'm so-and-so, I got to go to school, I got to go to work, and I got, and then you have to reorient yourself to this physical plane because it's an illusion, right? The only difference with death is when you leave that etheric cord, the elders come and they cut that cord like the doctor does the umbilical cord on the baby. And then the spirit can't come in and reanimate the flesh. And they say they take her vitals, the mirror to her nose, her pulse and heartbeat. They say she's gone or it's over. Over is not the end. It just simply means above. She's gone where? She's out of her body, and she can't get back in because the cord is cut. You call that death, but it's ascension. Tab-dack, you're ascending plane after plane. You know this because the older among you knew when you went to get an operation, the doctor would administer a gas you called ether. And that gas would raise your vibrations up spiritually so high that your conscience or your spirit will leave the body. Many people reported they looked back down on their body and saw the nurses and doctors operating in the room, heard everything they said, but they couldn't feel the pain because they were not in there. You know when you go to sleep with a toothache, you don't feel the pain while you sleep, only when you wake up because you're not in there. When you drop back down to that body, if it's not beyond repair, then they have to start giving you administering pain medication because the pain starts coming back to you. Do you understand? Out of body, OBE, astral flight. You understand? I'm asking you all right now to your soul, your inner being is indeed demanding that you let the conscience of God guide your steps and not your carnal mind. Don't be dumber than a bird. Learn how to find your way back to heaven without a map. Have we created any questions? I hope anybody that...
I just want to add...
Yes.
Like everything that you have said, like we have rituals where we actually appease a stage of evolution, soul and mind body evolution in Africa. And at first when the child is born, or before that, like 3 months prior, before a mother falls pregnant, we understand that there's a 3-in-1 brain. This 3-in-1 brain, there's the serpentine, the reptilian that lives in the water, and then there's the mammal, which is the Homo sapien, and then there's the ego, which is the rational brain. So in Africa, when you see a shaman who wears a python skin, they are telling you that they are connected to that reptilian energy.
Right.
And then they evolve and they start wearing that python skin. They wear it with probably a lion coat, what you call the lion, or a leopard skin. They are telling you that I am now a mammal. I move on the earth. And then when they upgrade and they get initiated in higher stages, they wear the crown with feathers. And that's to say, I'm now an ego. I can see from the bird's view, from the bird's eye, from above the skies. And yeah, that is really beautiful that you've shared that in my own simplicity or simplified way as an African. That's how we understand that as well, you know. And there is a stage where a child gets circumcised, and they are told and taught about the white powder gold inside them, which is their semen.
Yes, that's right. That's why I can't share it with everybody, and I need you, so they can take it externally. You follow? But yes, I am the golden child, Martha. I do have gold in my blood, abundant. But my concern is with the people, not myself. You follow?
Yes, and I also wanted to take you back to when you were talking about the people, the Africans that are in the West, our family that was taken and put on boats. Do you know that it was really by selection, where in Africa, like I told you, that the 9 ether that you guys call 9 ether, we call it the 9 mothers of creation, because that's where it all started. Those are the primordial energies that we call the Nehanders. And we had, in every village, we would have these seers, we would have hunters, we would have warriors, we would have miners, we would have all of these guys, and they make like 9 little kingdoms in an emperor, or 9 little villages in a kingdom. And when people were being taken, and people don't know this, but most of them, some of them also, they were taken from the southern Africa, and that's where the praying tribes were, the ancient bloodline, where, do you know that in Great Zimbabwe, when these other Africans, because they go in places where they're not supposed to go, they found ancient hieroglyphics from depicting what you call this, what Egypt would be like, Kemet.
Right.
And they were found here because these are the ancient lands. And so when people were taken on boards, and it was by selection, when they were taking the old blood and removing it from its roots, from its soils, even I think somehow by experiment to see how the generations after that, after slavery, how they would remember, if they would come back to their true selves,
That's why I'm here.
Some of us here, they took most of you guys there. So yes, I do understand these things. Some of the things you might show me.
I knew you did.
I'm not in that mindset to see. But as I told you, on that big star that I was focusing, other little stars were falling off. And to me, it's a significance of what happened from the east, where these stars had to fall off and to go and plant knowledge all over the earth.
That's right.
Because we have seeded the earth before when we were Homo sapiens. So we keep on doing it. And at times, it's not a comfortable way. It takes bots, it takes killing, it takes colonization. But we do wake up because we are the primordial energies. We are the alphas and the omegas.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah, thank you so much.
And thank you, Martha, for being a part. Because right now, even when you're sharing information, you're helping to raise the people again, you see?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, because regardless of, we may have some differences in the way our information is arranged because of cultures, but know this, there's only one truth, and it's coming from the same source, and we have one universal mind. So we'll understand one another. We know who's conscious and who's not, because they'll have that capacity for divine love. You follow? And I know I'm one with you, Martha, and I know you're one with me. I know that. You follow? I know that.
I do.
Thank you. Next question.
I got one.
I'll do my best.
What would be, because I know Malachi had spoke about fabrics. What would be the best fabrics for us to wear on our bodies for, frequency?
I bet you Martha could take. But I want to announce again that Anouka is making the white gowns for us, the garb with 144,000, and anybody that wants to send their measurements and prepare to buy one, I think you'll love the fabric that she's using for it. It's light and airy, a very spiritual fabric, okay?
Okay.
How much?
All right.
I want.
Yes. Go ahead, sister. Somebody had a question?
Yes, I
want to ask one question. I have one question. There was a brother that was speaking with an accent about his mother having brain challenges. Where are you located geographically, brother?
I'm in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands. Okay, I knew you had an accent. I love you. Okay, sister, your question is?
Love you too. Who had that earlier?
I did. Yeah.
Cheryl,
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Somebody had a question?
Yes, I was just asking how much was the gown?
150.
Okay, Tua.
Just get your measurements and we'll get it to you. Next question. What time is it?
Can you, Amun?
Yes.
4:30 almost.
Okay, I mean, huh?
Can you help her heal her brain?
Can I help what now?
Can you help her heal her brain?
Okay. when people say that they heal one another, it's not what it actually is the person is healing themselves. Remember when Jesus would walk the earth and the person wanted to be healed, he would ask the question. He would ask, do you believe that I can do this thing, right? And when they replied in the affirmative, he would say, then by your own faith may you be made whole. Are you following me? So what it is that, let me describe what illness is, or any problem like that is. It's whenever your body and spirit are out of line. When they're no longer aligned, that's what illness is. It's like plugging a lamp in the wall. If the plug is cocked, the light bulb may flicker, right? But if it's totally unplugged, the light will go out. That's called death. Are you following me? So what spiritual masters do is they see you healthy and they envision that reality and they get you to align with their vision. And that's what creates wholeness. Do you understand?
I hear you. I follow. Right.
And there's no medication that'll heal people, but these things act as a placebo. Because like Darrell Brown, James Brown's son, has been one of my disciples before he stroked out. But he used to say when he was a little boy, when he was sick, they would take him to the doctor and he would start feeling better before he even got there. Which tells me he believed in doctors and medicine. Do you understand? So
yeah,
they had a control group, son, where they had 100 people in the hospital, and they gave 50 of those people conventional chemical medicine for diabetes. The other 50 they treated holistically, right, with herbs. And when they came back, they checked them, and they all had basically the same result, right? Now, they had another group that they treated with a placebo, with sugar pills that had no chemicals or herbs, and they came back and they had the exact same results. You understand? So what I'm saying is people's belief in the healer that heals them. You follow?
I follow.
Right. It's realigning the spirit. See, your spirit is always perfect. It's vitality, it's life, it's energy, it's power. It's the Most High. And as long as it's aligned with your body, it's perfect, right? But whenever your spirit and body are out of line, there's darkness in the body. Do you understand?
I understand.
That's right. But yes, I could help her. But we'd have to realign our vibrations. I'd have to communicate with her. Okay?
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
Or I could come to you spiritually and let you take me to her. But that would take a lot more energy and effort on my part. Like I said, there are people in this class right now that I've healed from cancer and AIDS and everything else. They know that. That's their personal business. But I'm saying, I did that without touching them. It's realignment. You understand? Realignment time.
I understand.
Right.
So, then the next question would be, how can I help her realign? How can she realign?
Get her in contact with me. Let her hear this class right now, son. Did you record it?
I didn't.
You all should be recording these classes.
Okay.
Had she been here tonight, believe me, it may have wakened things up in her that were previously. See, I'm not teaching you all anything. You follow me? But I'm trying to get you to remember things that you knew in the past that have forgotten by time. At some level of your consciousness, you know everything. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
So these beings that are sent like Moses or Jesus or Muhammad, these people are not special beings. There is no big or small in the eye of all. What separates them from the masses is that there are some people that are more awake than others. You follow me? More conscious. And you call them your spiritual leaders or guides. You got it?
Got it.
So all of you are potential gods. There's nothing else here except look at it rationally. The only thing that exists is the Creator. by many names, Faout, Kalum, all. Best definition, you can't add to it because where would you get it from? You can't take away because where would you put it, right? Well, if the Creator is everywhere, then all of you have to be an expression of Him. All it is your higher consciousness was acting as an author, and say that you wrote a story like Hansel and Gretel, and some people wrote characters as little girls or boys or Indians or this and that and the other, and you created different environments and homes and countries and this and that and the other, and activities. You say, okay, I'm finished with my story now, Amun. It's Hansel and Gretel. I'll say, okay, so now the characters in your story, people would think of them as illusional, right? But in some sense, you shared with that character to give it an air of authenticity, right? Because a certain portion of your being, you shared with that character, or you breathe inspiration into that character, like the Creator breathes his inspiration into you. That's not mean that you're really actually God, but He merely shared and you became, right? So you gave that character their imagination, their thought, their personality, etc., right? Of vitality. Now the only problem with identifying with the character is the character has no control of what happens on the next day or the next page, right? Only the author does. So it's vital that you come on up here again. Come on up here and rejoin with the author of the story. That's the only one that has control of what happens. You follow?
I follow.
All right. Look, all of you, I don't know what time it is, but okay, I need you all to step outside. It's time to perform some miracles to bear witness to the world. Who sees stars in London or the Netherlands or Mexico or anywhere?
It's a little overcast where I am, Amun.
I'm at work in
London. Okay, go ahead. The brother in the Netherlands, it seems like your accent brought you from another kind of indigenous country. Is that your original homeland, the Netherlands?
No, my mom and my dad are from Suriname.
I felt that.
But they were born there.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you see anything in the Netherlands, or is it the wrong time of night or day?
It's the wrong time, but earlier when you were talking to Martha, I saw a few ones moving to the left, and I was actually like, because I saw one first moving a little bit, and then I saw a cloud moving last time you did it.
Yeah, I moved the clouds for you last time, right?
Moving. Yeah.
Yeah, because I am in all, and all is in me.
Wow.
So what you consider, let me leave you all with this very important point. There is no out there. There is no out there. What you consider stars and trees and things out there are reflections of what's going on in your own mind. Everything is within you. When you close your eyes, that darkness that you see is actually the cosmos, or the vast extent, the brightness, the void, the universe, or the multiverses. That's inside of you. And you are creating these images on that canvas. You know, because if I ask you to see your mother in there, she's in there. If I ask you to see the sun at 12 o'clock at night, you can do it. Because you're creating all these things with your imagination. The first word in imagination is image and likeness, okay? All right, who can see stars out there or the moon?
Moon, I see stars.
All right. Well, let's move all of them for you. And let us know what you see. All stars move to the left in the name of the Messiah.
Wow.
Yeah. All stars move back to the right. All right. All stars move back to the right in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Yeah. Moving right.
All right. Now, all creation, raise up in the name of Amun-Rayay.
Oh boy, raising up. Oh, yeah.
Raising up.
Now, all creation, drop back down in place.
Dropping down.
All right. I love you all with all my heart. I want you all to remember how to love yourselves and one another. We are one. Nitia Authority, Amun-Rayay, Asa, servant to the 144,000. Peace.